you made a comment about how you was one of the few rappers that never sold their soul. What made you say that?
Because I know majority of these rappers. Yeah. I know what be going on behind the scenes. I know who not really in control.
Yeah, it's like, man, who is the new street rapper that we could sign that's gonna impact the masses in their city, and we gonna blow them up, and they young, so they don't realize that they being used right now, you heard me? They don't realize it. We gonna make them rich, and we gonna get one from every major city, because that way we can make sure that they give birth to a whole bunch of mini-me's that's looking up to them.
You know, a lot of times people be blinded by what they see in these videos and on TV, but I just know, I know what I know, man. You know what I mean?
You've heard the whispers in the barbershops, seen artists blow up overnight with no clear reason, and watched careers skyrocket like magic. But now, someone who actually lived through that madness is speaking out.
Be going on behind the scenes. I know who not really in control. You know what I mean? I know the real. You know, a lot of times people be blinded by what they see in these videos and on TV, but I just know, I know what I know, man. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people that ain't being righteous, and they ain't keeping it infinity, because keeping it 100 ain't enough. That's a limit. You go, with me, you gotta keep it infinity. So it's just a lot of people, man, that's just, you know, selling their soul and selling themselves short and distracted with the wrong things. So, you know, it is what it is, man. This industry is a very evil industry, you know what I mean? Like, it's very evil, man. So you gotta really surround yourself with people that think like you or bigger than you. So it's a nice amount of, well, I ain't gonna even say nice, there's a lot of rappers that sold their soul, and, you know, they let money dictate everything they do. They value money more than they value humans. I ain't participating in no bullshit. If it ain't righteous, I don't want to be a part of it, man. I'm not gonna snake my people, and yeah, I ain't gonna snake my people, and yeah, I can't sell my people out, and I ain't gonna sell myself out. Fame ain't that important, man, for me to just do anything. It's cool. I'm used to the attention.
And he's not holding back. Lil Flip, the Houston legend who made millions on his own before the big labels came knocking, just dropped a bombshell. He said straight up, most of these rappers sold their souls. And when you hear what they tried to make him do, it'll leave you speechless. They even sent people to his house talking about some spiritual cleansing.
Once you influence you, then you're an asset to them, right? So once you understand your value position, right? Like, you could be an independent guy, putting work in, and get to a point where you're good enough for them to purchase your soul, right? And when you see, there's no artist, let me be clear, there's no artist in this industry that's doing major numbers with these platforms that haven't sold their soul. And when you know what you're looking at and you know how to decipher, you will see it. And the people like the brother right here who has his merch and is doing it out the trunk and direct to consumer, you will never get to that $20 million club without going through certain doors.
So now I gotta ask this question.
So E40 didn't do it?
Hold on. Now I gotta ask this question. Do you guys believe that the rappers that are at the top sold their soul?
Yes.
Nope.
Somehow.
Yes.
But that's only the beginning, because other artists are starting to spill what's really going on behind those label doors. Something dark is brewing in the music industry, and fans don't even see it coming. While everyone's distracted by the glitz, gossip, and viral videos, a Houston icon just exposed the creepiest truth about modern rap. Lil Flip, the same man who moved over 25 million albums without bowing to any major label, just revealed something so cold, it'll send shivers down your spine.
Yes. Industry plans exist, yes. The music industry will conspire to say what this artist represents is something that we need more of in America. So if it's extreme ignorance, if it's watered down blackness, if it's whiteness that represents being able to be cool and be accepted by black people, whatever it is, we want more of that. So we will do everything in our power to make this person pop off and be a star, to push this agenda. Or we have a vested interest financially in seeing this artist make it, because not only do we have this artist signed to us, but we manage this artist and we know that this artist is gonna create a whole generation of people just like them. Yeah, they definitely got industry plans. Yes, all of these black artists who ain't even old enough to understand the contract that they about to sign and who are being signed just because they had one thing that went viral, that they glorifying a bunch of murder and a bunch of just negativity, and all of a sudden they about to get paid millions of dollars. Those are industry plants. The industry knows the impact that those artists will have on the rest of their community. They know it. And they're just like, oh man, we need that person to make it for sure. But if you are representing something positive or something righteous or something intellectual or godly, you absolutely have to do way more work to make the industry say, all right, we're gonna let them in. It's like, all right, we're gonna let a J. Cole in. We're gonna let a Kendrick Lamar in, but we got enough. We got enough of them. You know what I'm saying? We got enough of them. You realize that J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar are two of the richest rappers walking planet Earth today? Two of the most successful rappers? Why would the industry not want more J. Cole's and more Kendrick Lamar's?
Yeah, they don't even floss or anything, bro. You don't see them with jewelry, none of that.
Bro, J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar scare the industry because if they let more of them in, you're gonna have a whole generation of people coming up who are black, who are saying, I ain't even gotta flaunt no jewelry, you heard me? I ain't even gotta flaunt fancy cars, and I can be intellectual, I can be woke, I can be a man of God.
Or rap about it.
Or rap about that stuff. And if you got a whole generation of black people that's coming up, that's like, man, there wasn't one J. Cole and one Kendrick Lamar, there were a ton of them, and they were all huge. Now keep in mind, a ton of people exist who are doing the same type of work that Cole and Kendrick are doing. And they're doing that work in their own way. I'm one of the people, you know? And there's a bunch of people that are doing that. But for the mainstream music industry, man, they don't want a bunch of that to exist, bro. Like, it doesn't make sense why you wouldn't want more of that.
According to this Houston icon, most of the rappers we see flexing on TV made a trade that's straight up unholy. They didn't just give up publishing rights or creative freedom. They sold something way deeper, something you can never buy back once it's gone. And the price? It meant turning their backs on everything they once believed in. What's worse, Flip isn't just guessing. He knows these artists personally. He's seen the shift with his own eyes, watched once bright souls turn into empty shells chasing fame. This isn't just a dirty industry, it's wicked to the core. These artists aren't victims anymore. They're part of the machine. They've stopped fighting it and started feeding it. It's not about hard choices or survival anymore. It's about people willingly trading family, loyalty, and morals for a taste of power. But a Flip?
No.
Have you ever been approached to do anything out of pocket?
I've been approached to have somebody come to my house and pray. And yeah, like, hey man, this guy, yeah, he's like he gets spirits out, and you know, he wants to come and pray. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I want to continue to pray the way I've been praying. I don't know who he believe in and what he believe in, but he can't come in my house. So yeah. Peace. I kept God in what I got going on. I kept God. I keep God in what I got going on. I don't love money. I talk for myself. I come from a family that programmed me and trained me to be out in this world and out in the streets and knowing how to maneuver. So you can't lure me with no money or nothing like that. Like, meaning like, if I don't want to do the deal, I ain't gonna do the deal. The difference between me and a lot of artists is I started doing music for God. My grandmother played the piano. I was in the church. I sung in the choir. I played the drums, played the piano, sung in the choir for God, went to different churches and sung here and there, right? For God, doing music in the studios, making gospel music, making hip hop. But I started off doing music for God. So I'm not gonna let money dictate every move I make when it comes to music. It's a blessing for me to be able to create. The money is gonna come. So I just pride myself in treating people right, and relationships outlast money. So you treat people right and you move the correct way, you'll have longevity. So for any artist or anybody that's a hater or just a fan or whatever you are, if you feel like some of your favorite artists fell off, sometimes you gotta just go take a trip down there and link up with them and see how they living. Cause I can speak for the artists that's in Texas. We still getting money, we still working, we still touring. We not broadcasting everything we do.
He stood firm and refused to take part in anything that didn't feel right. Plenty of others said yes to offers so twisted they'd make your skin crawl. But the real question is, who's behind these offers and how do they pick their targets? The people running this system aren't random scammers. They move like a military operation, cold and calculated. They study upcoming artists like scientists studying lab rats, watching every move before they strike. They don't go after just anyone. They look for raw talent mixed with a hint of struggle.
Yeah, depending on what part of the industry you're trying to get access to, there's gatekeepers. So if you're trying to get signed to a major label, there's gatekeepers. If you're trying to get on certain media platforms to get interviewed, there's gatekeepers. If you're trying to get on the mainstream radio, you heard me, urban radio, there's gatekeepers. Yes, yes, yes. On the totem pole of people with integrity and people with morals, values, and principles, these gatekeepers ain't nobody. But in this perverted, sick, twisted industry, these gatekeepers do hold access to certain levels, you know? Bro, I've had gatekeepers in the music industry who have literally tried to hold a record deal behind their back and let me know, like, look, if you're part of this homosexual act that I'm trying to take part in, you hear me? Yeah, come on, this door open real quick for you. Like, I got a song where I've talked about that before called The Devil's Playground. Like, this is real, dog. And the only way that type of stuff can work on you is if you let them have all the leverage to where you want what's behind that gate that bad. So that's a real thing. You also got people who, this a different type of gatekeeper. The gatekeepers who will say, hey, you making too much righteous noise right now. If you just tone that righteousness down a little bit, then we'll allow you into these doors. But you gotta tone that down. You gotta become a little more vanilla, you heard me? A little more lukewarm, a little more bland, and you'll fit in with us more. So that's the slick gatekeeping. It ain't telling you, it ain't telling you to all the way, you know, bend over or open your mouth or something like that. It ain't that, but it's telling you, like, dim your light. And what ends up happening is you got so many people that's like, well, that's not that bad. They not asking me to do nothing super crazy. I just gotta dim my light. That's the scariest kind right there. Cause a lot of people will be like, wait, I just gotta turn it from level 10 to level 5? Man, bet, I could do that, bro. I bet. Now I get accepted, cool. Next thing you know, you got a whole industry, brother, that's lukewarm. Whole industry lukewarm. So then when somebody that's on fire come along, they looking at it like, whoa, you crazy, hold on, you shining too bright, hold on.
Those battling bills, heartbreak, or bad deals. They quietly monitor these musicians for months, keeping track of every weakness, every financial burden, every crack in their armor. And here's where it gets darker. Their recruitment machine zeroes in on vulnerable black artists who are desperate for a breakthrough.
When you said that 99% of the rappers in the industry is fake.
Yeah, when it comes to artists, yeah, but the people that I've encountered, see, I can't speak on the people that I haven't met. So when I said that I'm speaking on 99% of the artists that I've met, they've done funny and, you know, said they was gonna do this and didn't do that, and then God will put them like right around me, like, you know what I mean? And instead of me being like bitter because somebody promised me, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this for you, I just be like, all right, I just put you in my book as a liar. You know what I mean? Because there's people that'll see you in public, I call it Hollywood talk. Hey, what's up, bro, man? I'm a fan of your music, man. We gotta do something, man. Here, take my number. Do you take their number? They don't answer. You know what I mean? They don't answer, but they might do an interview and be like, yeah, Flip, one of my favorite rappers. But then they don't answer their phone. And then when they see you again, it's like they seen the ghost. Hey man, take my number, man. I know we supposed to do something. It's cool. You offered the verse. I didn't ask you for the verse. You know what I mean? So it's cool, man. People promise you all kind of shit in this industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't deliver. But I'm a solo artist. So I gotta depend on me. Everything everybody told me not to do worked for me. So whether a person keep their word about rapping or singing on the song, it's not gonna stop me from getting where I need to go. Cause I'm gonna go put the work in, and I put the work in already.
Yeah, you also mentioned that, you helped a lot of rappers, and once they got on, they went Hollywood on you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's one that went super. It's one that went super Hollywood, man. I'm like, damn, bro, you really changed like that, bro. But like I say, man, I was prepared for it, man. I don't be surprised by nothing I see no more in this. So I just take that shit just face value, man. It is what it is, man.
Yeah, that money shows your true character, man.
Yep, man, I'm gonna be the same whether I got it or I don't got it. It don't make me.
Real talk. How you feel about the people that say the Houston rap scene fell off? From your point of view, what happened?
I can't speak on what happened with anybody else's life. I kept doing music.
No, in general.
No, but
the Houston music scene.
No, but what I'm saying, I can't speak on what happened, meaning like, I don't know what other people was doing in their life, or whether you want to say the momentum to slow down or whatever. Everybody got their own different situations. Some people left labels. Some people, did tech stuff. Everybody had different reasons for why they did what they did, but
Because when you're fighting to survive, it's easier to say yes to something you'd normally never agree to. Notice they never go after solid, self-made artists like Lil Flip, because he can't be bought. Why would they ever target someone who's already rich, is stable, and free to create whatever they want? They wouldn't dare. Instead, they circle like vultures around broke artists, musicians buried in debt, people who've been grinding for years with no spotlight, no break, and no peace. These are folks whose pride has been crushed by constant rejection until they're too tired to fight back. The system builds desperation, then feeds on it. And when those powerful figures finally decide to make their move, what they ask for will make your stomach turn. The things they demand from respected artists are so twisted, it'll completely shatter your trust in the entertainment world. Because when those so-called gatekeepers stepped out of the shadows, their requests weren't just strange, they were straight up horrifying. And Lil Flip didn't just hear about it, he lived it. He revealed that industry insiders literally tried to invade his personal space, his own home, just to perform something he calls spiritual infiltration.
twice a year, whatever. But if it's not $1 million budget being spent on marketing and radio and ads and posters and, brainwashing you to know, hey, this album is out, here's a billboard over here, then it's gonna look like you're not doing nothing. But like I say, success is subjective, you know what I mean? So we still working, you know what I'm saying? Paul's still touring. I just did a show with him. He brought me out as a special guest. He got a deal with Paul, my son. He's liquor deals and shit like that. Chameleonaire doing the tech. Slim still living great. Doing shows. Rose still living great. I'm doing shows, making albums. Key got a podcast, Legend Talk. You know what I'm saying? He's still great doing shows. Everybody elevating. Young Star, you know what I mean? I brought him out to Carbach on 713 Day. Like, we still out here working, holding it down, for Big Pokey, for all the legends. So we just still working, man. It's just not millions of dollars being spent on marketing no more. We back independent. So, we got our core fan base and they go book us and with us regardless. So
they told Lil Flip they wanted to send someone to his house for a so-called spiritual cleansing. But this wasn't about faith or healing at all. What they really planned was something dark and twisted, a full-blown demonic ritual right inside his home. Can you imagine the nerve it takes to walk up to a successful, independent artist and tell him he needs their chosen spiritual helpers to cleanse his soul? That's not guidance, that's manipulation at its finest. But as wild as that sounds, what happened to other artists was even worse. One conscious rapper came forward and revealed the most disgusting recruitment tactic you can think of. The industry literally offered him record deals in exchange for taking part in depraved acts.
I feel like I get the respect from the people who matters most to me. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes with aligning yourself with certain people, and if this person is managing you, they'll get you these kind of looks, and this will make you look like you're bigger than somebody else, you know what I mean? Because your manager is getting you these kind of looks. But at the end of the day, success is, you know, subjective. Nobody sees what happens with my life every day behind the scenes. Some people are brainwashed to, hey, if you ain't on the radio like you used to be or on TV like you used to be, you fell off. That's the average mind. But then people that understand and overstand and cloverstand business, they'll get what success means. Like, so for me, man, I'm always out and about, running into people, taking pictures with fans, signing autographs, people. I just left talking. What was the unit? The old Ramsey unit? Stringfellow, now it's what they call it. We just left Stringfellow unit, talking to the prisoners. I performed. Shout out to Mike Prince, you know what I'm saying? Rapper Love Mob Ties, that's fam. So yeah, we just went to talk to the prisoners, and man, we made their day. We performed, man. They still believe in God. Some of them performed. I seen some people that I knew that I ain't seen in 20 years. You know what I mean? So, and I got my respect from God. I got my respect from my family, respect from my hood, respect from my city, and in the world. You know, I travel, man. I be everywhere, man. So for me, the respect that I get, long as it's coming from people that really respect me, that's really all I care about. The people that are brainwashed or they're sheep and they just follow trends, you know what I mean? You know, I ain't for everybody, you know what I'm saying? So who respect me, man, listen, that's where it matters the most. So I don't think about it outside of that.
I just think, me personally, your name should come up more. But, you know, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I chose not to indulge in the weirdo shit that's going on in this industry. So when you still believe in God, man, and you ain't compromising your morals, I'm not selling my soul for no fame. I ain't doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep God in everything I do. Sometimes they try to make a path longer or harder for you, but I deal with the consumer. You know what I mean? So, and that I practice great customer service, and they're very satisfied.
Not as a metaphor, not symbolically. We're talking about real physical acts of humiliation used as payment for fame. They dangle dreams in front of desperate artists, contracts, radio hits, red carpet fame, but behind those deals are acts that crush self-respect forever. It only works when ambition kills morality, when the hunger for fame becomes stronger than a person's dignity. Here's where it gets even darker. This isn't some one-off horror story, it's a full-on system of control. What's happening out here is organized exploitation running through every corner of the industry. Desperate artists get tested, pushed, and cornered with degrading demands until someone finally snaps. Both Lil Flip and D1 stood their ground and refused. But their courage opens a haunting question. How many others said yes just to survive? And what happens to the ones who don't play along? The retaliation comes fast and vicious. The industry doesn't just take no, it makes you regret saying it. Lil Flip exposed how brutal the fallout can be when you choose integrity over obedience. He said from firsthand experience, 99% of these industry people are fake.
Been having the same number, man, since high school. Like, I'm still dealing with the promoters and talking to them, the artists, the people I done did songs with all over this world, man. I see them, you know, I give them copies of my book, I give them game, I mentor them, and then when I bump back into them, they be like, man, we read your book, we applied what you put in your book, and I'm booking shows now. So that's who I really care about, because a lot of people that's at the top, man, they don't care. They culture vultures. They don't care what's going on in the community like that. They just want their money. I care about my community. So that's why I make sure I'm out and about helping people, you know, looking out for people. I did a verse for a guy yesterday.
They promise the world and deliver nothing. And the few genuine connections, all conditional. Every handshake is calculated. Every deal comes with invisible strings. When an artist refuses to bend, the punishment isn't subtle. They get erased. No airplay, no press, no opportunities. The industry doesn't just blacklist rebels, it tries to wipe them out completely. Once you refuse to play the game, the punishment hits hard. No radio spins, no label calls, no magazine features. They try to erase you completely, like you never existed. But here's the twist. Their plan is backfiring. The very artists they tried to bury are rising higher than ever, running their own shows, building empires straight from their grind. These independent voices are thriving without the machine. They're making real money, gaining real fans, and doing it all without begging for approval. No big marketing teams, no fake media hype, just pure talent and loyalty. Their music still connects, their words still move people, and their integrity keeps supporters locked in for the long haul. Meanwhile, the industry keeps throwing millions behind artists who've already sold out, but it's the independents who are truly winning. Slow and steady, real and raw. And that brings us to the ultimate question. If you can make it without selling your soul, why do so many still choose the dark route? Lil Flip just shattered the industry's biggest myth, that fame equals success. Real success, it's when you can win without losing yourself. While the compromised artists chase TV spots and radio spins, the real ones are out here building something way more valuable, direct connections with their fans. That's the real secret, skipping the gatekeepers altogether. Instead of begging shady executives for approval, independent artists go straight to the people who actually matter.
These dudes ain't never been to jail. You ain't got to worry about, we might sign him and he might go to jail and we can't even put no music out. These dudes ain't never been in no shootouts or nothing like that. Why would the industry not want more of that? Think about it. Think about it.
You right, man. That's a real talk, yo.
Come on, man. You mean to tell me you not a headache? And you still gonna make buku bread for us and for yourself and just like everything is all good? Like people entertained by you, they love you, da-da-da? You mean to tell me they wouldn't be like, man, we need more of that? But come on, bro. Come on, bro. Every year, they're like, yo, who is the new street rapper that need to get signed and get pushed out there? Not in one city, but in every major city. Every year, it's like, man, who is the new street rapper that we could sign that's gonna impact the masses in their city, and we gonna blow them up, and they young, so they don't realize that they being used right now, you heard me?
The listeners. No middlemen, no greedy handlers, and no soul-crushing deals. But this path takes something rare these days, real loyalty. True artists don't fake their image or chase trends. They build connections rooted in honesty and shared experiences. Their music comes from the heart, not from a marketing plan. And here's the difference that truly lasts. Independent artists treat their fans like family. They stay grounded, humble, and accessible, while the mainstream stars lose touch, floating in their own hype. That's why the independents keep winning. They build real careers on solid ground instead of burning out in another wave of temporary fame. Some artists can tour for decades because their fans truly respect them, not just for their music, but for who they are. But if this independent path is so powerful, why don't we hear more about these success stories? The answer is chilling. The industry doesn't want you to. It's not by accident. It's a calculated plan to keep positive voices buried while pushing the most toxic ones to the front. Just look at who gets the biggest media push. Artists glorifying violence, bragging about substances, disrespecting women, and preaching materialism like it's a religion. Those are the ones plastered on every billboard. Meanwhile, artists spreading messages of family, growth, and community barely get heard. That's not coincidence. That's strategy. The industry's playing a psychological game, social destruction wrapped up as entertainment. They want young audiences soaking in chaos, not consciousness. And anyone who dares promote real values or spiritual balance becomes a threat to that system. So they limit their exposure. Fewer radio spins, less streaming promotion, no headlines. It's not lack of talent holding them back, it's an agenda built to silence positivity. Meanwhile, the artists who did sell their souls get everything handed to them. Massive promo budgets, endless exposure, and media machines working overtime to keep them shining. The goal, to make the world believe that toxic music is normal, while truth, positivity, and real artistry seem rare or uncool. But that's the illusion. Conscious artists are everywhere. They're just being silenced, shadowed, and starved of spotlight. This manipulation isn't random. It's a business model. The industry profits when destruction sells, and integrity looks impossible. They want people to think you can't win without selling out, so the system keeps feeding on desperation. Lil Flip and D1 risked everything to pull that curtain back and show what's really going on. Because this industry isn't just greedy, it's evil in motion. It preys on the desperate, pushes the broken, and buries anyone who dares to bring light into the darkness. So ask yourself this: if 99% of the game is fake, how many of your favorite stars traded their morals for the fame you helped keep alive? And now that you know what's really happening, will you keep supporting a system that rewards corruption while silencing those who stay real? The choice is in your hands. Every stream, every view, every single purchase is a vote for the kind of music world you want to keep alive. Are you backing the ones who sold out or the ones who stayed real no matter the cost? Choose wisely, because your support shapes the entire game. What do you think about everything Lil Flip and D1 revealed? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like, share this video, and make sure to subscribe so you never miss the next big story. See you in the next one, fam. Stay real and stay woke.